Rabbits, it's Trixie, and today
Whoa, 1 second please. Why does your hair look like a microwave guinea pig?
Thank you. That was a very suiting description of my looks. It's because I just took a shower and I wanted to let my hair dry in the sun, so I hope that's okay for today. What I wanted to say is that in today's video, I want to tell you something about how I got to know about Germany's past. I mean, if you are an adult, no matter where you come from, whether it's Germany or another country, you pretty surely know about Germany's past. And when I say Germany's past, I'm pretty sure you all know what I'm talking about. Just in case you're expecting this right now, this video is not supposed to be a history lesson. I don't know if you are aware of that, but YouTube is a bit difficult with delicate topics, so I'm not going to go into too much detail about what happened back then. I'm pretty sure that you all at least have a rough idea of what was going on, and that's enough for this video. There are many videos out there, and I also made some myself, that deal with stereotypes about Germany. But all of these videos kinda take it for granted that everybody knows what happened in Germany, especially the Germans. They must know, right? But of course, even Germans are not born with this information implemented in our brains. Somebody has to tell us about it, or we have to get to know it some other way. And since I feel that there is too little information on how it actually feels to a German to get to know about this whole National Socialism thing for the first time in his or her life, I decided to give you exactly that insight today. Two warnings beforehand, I did not write a script for this video. The only thing I did was taking a shower and thinking about the topic for a while. We all know that the best ideas come when we are under the shower, right? And not a few keywords every now and then when a thought hit me. This is not because I'm lazy or I didn't find the time to prepare a script. It's because I feel like a delicate topic like this is best approached spontaneously. I want this whole narration to be natural and authentic and coming out of my heart. So if this video appears a bit less structured or clumsy, or if you hear a few during the time, that's the reason for it. Second thing, this is my personal experience, so this does not mean at all that this happened to all Germans like that. But at least I am German, I can tell you how it was for me. Alright, so how did I learn about Germany's past? First of all, I should mention that my stepfather, who we lived with, was a teacher for politics and math. So, you know, maybe I was a special case because we had all these books, like a ton of books about this period of time in our house. It was just a matter of time until I grabbed one of them and took a look into it. I think the first time I did that, I was like 10 or 11 years old, and all of this didn't mean that much to me. You know, these books were written in a really complicated way. I just saw like soldiers and political stuff and I didn't care much about it. I also didn't understand that this was about Germany's history. But the older I grew, the more I understood. And I remember that at some point I had a cold and I had to stay in bed, and I watched a documentary about Germany's history. And there, for the first time, it kinda hit me that this is what happened not actually that long ago. And you know, the documentary didn't seem that bad at first because it started pretty harmless. The elections, the political influences, the changes inside of Germany. But of course, at some point things got nasty and I got to know everything about the Holocaust. You know, I was like 12 or 13. I had a cold, so my head was not working properly, so for that day it was fine. But the moment I got better, I noticed that this documentary hadn't left my head. All of this was still inside of there, all the pictures and the information I got. So I started researching more and more, writing down stuff. I created a whole folder of information. I gathered everything I could find. During this period of time, you could say I was basically obsessed with Germany's history, or this part of Germany's history. I wanted to know everything. Of course, I also asked my father and my mother for books and information, but let's say the relationship between me and my stepfather was not the best, so we never had a really interesting talk about it, which is actually a pity. But surely the books helped and my parents could give me the right influences to keep going with my research. I don't even know how to describe this feeling about Germany's past that I had, because on one hand I was purely shocked. I was disgusted about what happened, and these true horrors of what happened were inside of me, and I couldn't believe that this is actually something that people could do. On the other hand, I was fascinated in a negative way by the manipulation that was going on, by how easy it was in the end to make something like that happen. You know, when you're a kid or a teenager, things like war and violence seem so pointless and weird to you. I wish we would never stop seeing these things like a child. Because it is pointless and weird. But yeah, with my naive mind, I couldn't grasp all of this. I was just like, how? How on earth did no one see that coming? How could we not intervene? Now, being quite a bit older, I see more perspectives of the whole thing, of course. I understand how difficult and risky it was to try to do something about it, for example. But back then, and maybe also now, I'm still just speechless. So yeah, as I said, I was obsessed. I was just researching day and night basically because I wanted to know everything. I wanted to be informed about what happened. I bought movies and books and documentaries with my pocket money, and I remember that my main motivation was to understand this whole thing from the roots, so that whenever something like that occurred again, I would notice and I would know what to do. Which is a thought and an intention that I'm pretty proud of, because, you know, I understood that I have to start from scratch to understand the whole system and how it developed. That something like that is like a disease, like a virus that grows, and maybe at first you don't even notice, but there is something there already, and days or weeks of this going on unnoticed can make a big difference. So this is basically how I got to know about Germany's past. Of course, since I was a child, my research was not the best. Sometimes I noted down things that just didn't matter that much, or I misinterpreted things, but at least I tried to educate myself. And I also feel that this age, 12, 13, 14, was a good age for me to get into touch with it. Which is what makes me question whether or not the school system deals with this topic in the best way. In Germany, schools teach about this topic in the grades 9 or 10, depending on the school type and the state you're living in. This means that you're around 14 to 18 when you get into touch with it for the first time in a professional way. And you know, professional is still questionable because, you know, different schools, different teachers, the quality of the classes, so many different approaches. You can be lucky with your teacher, but it can also be a mess. I would say I myself was very lucky because I had a very, very good history teacher. I remember him approaching the topic in a very respectful and professional way. He seemed emotionally moved himself, but not biased. So he taught us the right things without indoctrinating us. He let our own feelings develop, which is very, very important. He showed us various and interesting material, trying to approach the whole topic from different perspectives. Also, we were discussing a lot. We had freedom to say what we were thinking, ask our questions, which is something I appreciate a lot as a student. You know, school should not be like it's about figuring stuff yourself, making up your mind. So if you see that, Herr Zach, that was awesome. So what I meant with questionable is it early enough to teach teenagers about this topic? I was confronted with it much earlier, and it would have been important for me to have somebody professional to talk to. On the other hand, as I said, maybe I was a special case and other children would have been disturbed by getting to know about this earlier. So with this video, I don't want to blame schools for teaching about that subject pretty late. I guess there is a reason for defining this point of time as the right time to teach children about it. But what I do want to mention is that parents should be aware whether or not their children want to get to know something about Germany's past, and they should educate themselves on this topic again to be ready for questions. What I mean is that besides sex education, parents should also consider historical education. And of course that does not only apply to Germany. I think that if you sense that your child is interested in the history, the political history of the country it lives in, you should be there for him or her as a person to talk to, as a reliable source of information and open for a conversation. Sure, that also means that you yourself have to read about all of that again and try to transform it into something child-friendly. Try to grasp and recapture all of that yourself and put it in a very simple way. I know that sounds difficult and it may cost you a bit of time, but I would say it's totally worth it. And I can imagine what you're maybe thinking. My child is like 10 years old. Why am I supposed to tell him something horrible if school does the same job a bit later? And you know what I mean is not that you should try to be the school for your child. It shouldn't be a 2-hour conversation. 10 or 15, 20 minutes is enough. Just get some things in your child's head straight. The thing is that children are confronted with this topic much earlier than you may expect. You know, maybe your child is into computer games and they play online on international servers. It is inevitable that your child will be confronted with political terminology. And I'm not talking about confrontation in a neutral way, more like the nasty, insulting kind. So at least he or she should know what all of this means, right? Why the whole world is calling him or her weird names. Please don't get me wrong, I'm not at all against computer games or media, internet in general. I played video games myself from since I have fingers and my boyfriend is a programmer. I'm just saying that some dangers are there, and these things are inevitable. So knowing about this and informing your child about why this is happening is very important in my opinion. But of course it's not only computer games. Since we have the internet, hate and all of this is everywhere. So at least the basic aspects of history and terminology should be communicated. I mean, just check out the comment section under my video, Things I Hate About Germany. Grab some popcorn and enjoy. In this video, I'm talking about grocery shopping, about taxes, and about German movies. And the whole comment section turned into a political discussion nightmare. It doesn't even deserve the name discussion. It's just hate and racism and blah. I was so close to just disabling comments, but then again, muting hate is not really helping against it. But anyway, what I want to say is that this video doesn't deal at all with German history, yet there are some experts sharing their poisonous thoughts. Now, a rough suggestion is that not everyone watching my channel is 14 or 15 plus. So if a child, be it coming from Germany or any other place, finds his way there, what is he or she gonna think about that? What is he or she gonna make out of that? Gee, it doesn't even have to be the internet. Just go to a playground. You will find a swastika somewhere there. Most likely painted there by other kids that didn't understand what that means. They just understand it's something forbidden, so it's interesting and funny, and they do it. So yeah, that's why my advice to parents is gather some information, try to put it in words that a child can understand, and share it with your offspring. Being a parent means that you are a gardener, and you can plant the right seeds into your child's mind. You cannot make tomatoes grow on apple trees, but you can help these healthy plants to grow. So yeah, that's mein Wort zum Sonntag. Alright, Rabbits, I really hope that you enjoyed this video, that it was interesting for you. As I said, I didn't have a script for this, so it was a bit spontaneous and maybe a bit clumsy. I still tried my best to get everything out of me that I felt that I wanted to share about this topic. If you still have questions, feel free to ask in the comments, but please try to not spread hate. This time, yes, I spoke about a political topic, but I felt it's urgent, it's something important. I'm already scared about the comment section, honestly. Now I'm really curious. What are your thoughts on this topic? If you're a German as well, do you remember how you got to know about German's history? What did it feel like to you? Are you happy with how school handles this topic, or do you think that we should educate our children earlier? I think this all can turn into a very interesting discussion, and I can't wait to see what you guys are thinking. I really hope that you enjoyed today's video. If so, please leave a thumbs up, because that would make me really, really happy. Let me know if you want to see other unscripted videos like this, where I just talk about something Germany-wise, because I could surely do that from time to time. Let me know what you want me to talk about. Of course, as always, you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook, and here is a video that you should definitely have a look at as well. Subscribe to Don't Trust the Rabbit for more videos like this, and if you want to support my channel even more, you can also find me on Patreon. I would appreciate your help so much. Now I wish you all a wonderful day. Check out my other videos if you'd like to, and hopefully we are gonna see each other in my next one. Bye!